Usa ka tingog, usa ka katawhan. Cebu Catholic Television Network.
Maayong hapon. Ani ata karon sa ato ang regular Tuesday, Martes nga tulumanon ang sa mata sa kababayen. Ako si Attorney Irene Ann Cabales. Kuyog nako karon si Mother Lolet Dolores Alinio, presently the Executive Director of Law Inc. Hi, Mother Lolet.
Oo, may hapon. May hapon na
Unya,
kalig sa tanan.
kaming Mother Lolet, digit kami ang regular nga kanang anchors ani si Attorney Virgie Palangka Santiago ug si Ma'am Fe Kabatingan gyud. But then Attorney Virgie and Ma'am Fe are not able to make it, so here I am representing also the Legal Alternatives for Women Center Inc. and Celia, always ready to come in at a pinch. So ako ang inyong kuyog karong hapuna, kuyog ni Mother Lolet, Ma'am Lolet Alinio Mapula. And then, Ma'am Let, ang atong tulumanon sa mata sa kababayen, it has always been a program specifically for women to talk about the plight of women, to talk about the achievements of women, to talk about the victories of women. Apil na pod ang mga struggles ug ang experiences sa ato ang mga kababayenan. Unya daghan na kay tag na guest dinhi from katong mga clients nga naka overcome na sa ilahang adversity kay para nahimo ng empowered women, and they shared their stories. Naapoy ato ang mga public servants no nga kanang working closely with the community to talk about what it's like to work for women and to work with women, and also to give service to the public. This afternoon, we are joined by a very special guest, Mother Let. Super pretty, abogada, guwapa, adunahan, sikat, bright, nasa kanya na ang lahat. Batanon pa jud. Oo. Ladies and gentlemen, please join us in welcoming Attorney Rhea Georgette Bordios. Good afternoon, Attorney
Hello,
Rhea.
good afternoon, Attorney. Good afternoon, Ma'am. A pleasant afternoon to everyone as well, to our viewers.
Pasalamatan yun ta, ang yatagan yun ta panahon.
Yes.
Ni Attorney Rhea.
I'm also
Nadiligin yung
thankful,
first Attorney Rhea.
I'm also thankful for this opportunity.
This won't be the last.
Yes.
Kung ano pag yung kaayo mi sa Loing ug sa Celia, kung naa na may makitaan nga guest ug resource person, hala, balik-balikan yun na mo og invite. Hopefully, you can join us this time. Anchor na pud ka.
We look forward,
Okay.
Ma'am.
Attorney Rhea, before we go further or deeper into the discussion of what you do now as a lawyer, what you do now as a woman, and unsay mga prospects mo for the future, and unsay mga advocacies or programs or activities no for outreach, tell us what made you decide to take up law? childhood dream. Childhood dream gid or lain unta to.
Becoming a lawyer is actually a childhood dream, attorney.
Committed gud ni siya.
Yeah,
ma'am.
yeah. But contrary to everyone, my dream to become a lawyer is not because of the exposure I had in litigation. Because in fact, in my family, no one is a lawyer. In my direct lineage. Oo. So, I'm actually the first.
The first lawyer sa
Oo.
ko.
So, what inspired me, attorney, to become a lawyer was my experiences back in high school and college, where I was active in student organizations.
Okay.
Yeah. These were.
Where did you have
Where
your
is
high
that?
school? Where did you
Where is
study?
that?
I'm actually a product of a public school. Agusa National High School Special Science Curriculum. So it was considered the science high of my hometown back then.
okay.
Oo.
Ay, super
Proudly,
smart.
proudly a product of public school.
Unya, kanang nalingaw ka sa imong pag-organize sa mga student activities. Ana, mo nang nagka-decide kay ganahan ko nga mag-abogado.
Yes, attorney. Other than that, we were exposed manggod to different trainings and different seminars. And usually the people they invited to inspire us, young students then, were really lawyers who were excelling in their fields, not necessarily just in litigation, but some were engaged in government service. So, you know, that inspired me. And other than that, I also grew up having news as part of our dinner. Kumbaga, it was like a meal for dinner.
Okay,
So, public
balita na
exposure to public affairs, and you see people interviewing lawyers in the news, and more bitag, it paints a picture na these people are really involved in the society. These are people na who are really change makers in the society. So I think that's where my passion for lawyering actually really began.
Mo share lang sa ko ang beginnings as a lawyer, ma'am. Ang ako mang yung first ambition was to become a nun. Was to become a nun. I wanted to become
Maayo kay sa
I
attorney
wanted to become a madre. Then later on,
Really?
really?
Kinsa may kuani mo, naka-influensya.
Because sa among school we had a chapel. I found such peace in the chapel.
Where
I could
is that,
stay there.
attorney? Where?
Sacred Heart. So na may chapel within the
Yeah,
koan.
yes,
So,
yeah.
sige ko kanang ana. So I wanted to be a nun. That didn't pan out. Kay murag I think I will be too rebellious as a a nun sad siguro. So
Really?
next I said, magkuan ko, mag-photojournalist, kay ganahanan ko og stories. Then later on, ganahan mo kog dagat, mag-marine biologist.
Yes, yes.
So na marine biologist yun ko. Then later on, natanawag yung jellyfish food. Because
Really?
kanang sirena lagi kayo. Then later on, nag-decide nga, okay, kanang works ako sa bank. And then ang bank ends at 5 o'clock. Doon naman ang akong school sa UV. One morning, I just decided I'll take up law.
Law sa UV.
Dirigyo ko sa law na hiluna. Murabag, your personal legend could come to you at an early age, or it could come to you when you least expect it. Nga, this is where you are meant to be. Kani kang koan, Attorney George, kay koan gyud, she knew exactly where she was meant to be early on. Unya, sa kuan man ka, abusan man ka nag-elementary, no?
Yeah,
And
high school.
What made you decide nga diri ka mag-college sa Cebu?
It was actually my parents' choice for me to to pursue college in Cebu, specifically in San Carlos, because my dad has also relatives in Cebu. So in terms of my safety and
Usually.
security and emergencies, I have people to run
there.
to just in case near
Usually,
lang.
nana, no?
So what did you choose as pre-law?
This is actually funny, attorney, because of my determination to become a lawyer, I actually asked my parents to decide what would be my pre-law. So my mom, being the supportive mother that she is, she asked around her. She asked her lawyer friends, now what would be good for my daughter because she really wants to become a lawyer. So there were the advice was for me to take up accountancy or linguistics and literature. So I chose to take up linguistics and literature in University of San Carlos.
Very kuan. Kaya ang uban mo advice ana Paulsay, accountancy, pero ang nindot sa jud nga kanang pre-law would be sakto English, linguistics, literature, or psychology. Psychology ka ng mga humanities.
Psychology.
Yes, kay gamit kaayo motherlet.
Bitaw.
Before ka maabogado, nag-practice na ka sa psychologist, na kay courtroom experience because you could be called in as an expert. Gamit ka. Anyway, let's pause for a few reminders from our friends. We will be back.
Discover the beauty of the Philippines. With Philippine Airlines, the country's flag carrier. The airline that lets you feel the warmth of the nation. Mabuhay!
Batuki ang COVID-19. Tulo kahugna sa COVID. COVID sa ilong lang, vitamina C, kasagaran walay hilanat. Asymptomatic, walay simptomas. COVID sa tutunlan, katol ang tutunlan. Panahon sa kaayuhan o sa kaadlaw, paglimugmog og init na tubig. Medyo init na tubig ang imnon. Paracetamol kung may hilanat. Vitamin C, B-complex. Kung grabe, nagkinahanglan na og antibiotic. COVID sa baga, pag-ubo o kakutas sud sa upat ngadto sa 5 ka adlaw. Vitamina C, B-complex, limugmog og init nga tubig, oximeter, paracetamol, oxygen cylinder kung grabe. Gikinahanglan ang daghang tubig, ehersisyo sa pagginhawa, estado nga gikinahanglan ng moadto sa ospital. I-monitor ang level sa oxygen. Kung moabot na gani og 43, gikinahanglan na ang oxygen cylinder. Ayaw itago kining maong informasyon alang lamang sa imong kaugalingon. Ipaambit kini sa imong pamilya o mga higala ang pagpakigbatok sa COVID-19. Hatod kaninyo ning istasyon.
And we are back. During the break, nagtabi-tabi me with Attorney George and Mother Lolet, no? Kanang, you know, our guest today is a quintessential young lady lawyer, yun. So, you see a glimpse of how we were when we were younger and how young women lawyers actually get to where they are. So nagstorya-storya pud mi from high school murag nakuan na ka nainganyo na ka nga mag-abogado and then you decided to come to Cebu to study and take up linguistics and literature. How different was high school life from college life here in Cebu, considering balhin ka from one province to a big city?
Entirely different, especially that our city back then was really laid back. We didn't have malls. Then when I moved to Cebu, the environment is entirely different. But I was just really blessed that I was with my sister. So in terms of being truly independent, I didn't get to experience that because my sister was just always always with me. But other than
Elder
that,
sister.
but she's back in Botswana now, attorney. Ako na lang karon. So,
Wa siya
karon
mag-law.
na. wala siya nag-law. Supposedly siya gyud on tato. But wala siya nag-law. But supposedly mag-law sad gyud to siya. Oo.
So, kumusta? What activities were you involved in as a student in college?
Although the environment was entirely different, no, I never felt alone gihapon. Other than I had my sister with me, but because I was also active in organizations, we had our in our college we had our own organization, and we also had another organization.
Outreach, good day, imuha, Attorney George.
Outreach.
Ganahan ka o
I grew up being exposed to it, attorney, since high school, college, koan. Ang akong exposure ba, kanang
Ang
mo
imong
volunteer.
parents ko anpod into public service?
No,
public work?
no. My parents are not public serve. My parents are in private companies lang. Oo.
So siya mo'y kuan the first. Parang ako, wagi abogado na mo, kalit lang ko. And then sa kuan sa college, what organizations did you immerse yourself in?
Okay. There were a few, no, but what really made an impact to me was my involvement in Rotaract. It's actually a student organization, product siya of the Rotary Club of Cebu Fente USC.
Okay.
There, our mother club, which is the Rotary Club of Cebu Fuente, every time they have community extension programs, they would tap us, and we would volunteer, and we will every activity as much as possible. Rotaractors will be there, and other than that, we also partner with other organizations side. Kana.
So ang inyong mga activities are like what activities do you do?
In so far as community extension services, we did, there was this one activity where we gave away school supplies to children. Usually, they were abandoned children. Oo. So, kaning mga orphan children.
Dapitan na.
I don't remember. It's a certain, we selected a certain barangay that time yun. Oo. And it was in partnership of ROX, R-O-X. It's a company na they sell backpacks. So they manufactured, they manufacture and produce backpacks. So they specially made backpacks for that.
Para
for that
sudlan na
thing.
lang atong mga
Yes,
supplies.
There were activities also where we partnered with World Vision.
Ang World Vision kay kuan man sad na kanang murag na asad sila scholars, di ba?
Yeah. And within our kuan lang sad as volunteers, student volunteers, kami lang sad, we also organize kanang among own feeding program. Because naamang good era sa San Carlos attorney before kanang mga orphan children mo gather na sila every Sunday sa naay area sa San Carlos before. Kanya, morning mag feeding program na San Carlos. Oo.
Dili dapit sa kilid sa may kuan sa
Sa
may
mayong
hapos sala
yes,
kera diha.
Mag-gather na dira ang mga bata sometimes together with their parents and feeding program. So kana nato one time we did not only feed them, naghatag sad mi og mga clothings, use clothing sa ilaha.
Wa na wag tang imong idealism. I can sense that you had a very idealistic childhood. Pagsud nimo law school, wala na wag tang gamay a little bit. Kaya di ba ang first ginato sa ato ang legal maxims nga statutory construction nga class, ang first gid namo in town nga Italia o Latin na legal maxima memorize man dura lex sed lex man. The law is harsh but it is the law. So it can get kuan pod, it can get a bit disheartening pod if ingana gid ka rough. So wala ra na wagtang
So for attorney, I feel it's still here. Up until kaya I think your experiences mold you. They happened in the past because they serve a future. They serve a purpose in the present. So I didn't want to throw away my future by giving up what I love to do. Bitaw kay murag
That's good.
when it happens to you manggod kanang balik-balik, it becomes you. Murag it becomes part of you. So attorney.
Habits become your character.
And if you abandon it, okay ra unta og negative siya, but if it's something positive and you abandon it, it's like you putting to waste all the good experiences you had when you were still
Besides, it made you
younger.
happy.
Yeah,
Kaya
exactly.
mo bitaw nang magsigit og repeat and repeat and
Yes,
repeat
attorney.
doing something ang makaingon ang uban yung unsa man yung makuha ana.
Yes,
Diba? But
attorney.
because it makes you happy.
It
Mo
makes
na
you happy,
makuha.
yeah.
They do not understand. sometimes, no? Kailangan na kinahanglan yung something material or something.
Yeah,
Ano.
marabag ka ng, what do you get out of your time doing this thing? So, okay, in law school, while we were discussing, we learned something. In law school, she met the love of her life. Oh, dinot ka ng mga law school romances na Berlet. I didn't have one in law school. I
I
had one
hope they have a
after.
TV there in their office.
I hope so too. Or maybe they're busy working, they might just watch the replay.
Kuan, kanang how did you find law school? Lahi rabag gyud. Di ba sa kuan? My man is Mother Lolet. Mother Lolet is a librarian. So ganahan kay magsigig basa og libro. Pero lahi ra ba gyud ang law nga books, ma'am, compared sa kanang the one that we love to read, the bestsellers. How did you find your law school experience?
I think every lawyer would say that law school is challenging. It was for me. It was challenging, and at the same time, it was humbling. A very, very humbling experience. Because, growing up magod na elementary, high school, college, I had been part of organization. So, I was really so active sa orgs. And sa law school, I felt like, George, you need to focus na on your studies because this is what you want. So, I started law school fully determined yun, to become a lawyer. I was out every day studying out. I spent sleepless nights, anxieties during recitation, all that. So,
But
by
it
God's
never
grace,
entered your mind nga di jud ka maabogado. Sure jud ka daan nga.
I prayed for it every day, attorney.
Or you had also moments of self-doubt.
There were moments I was tired. I was tired of studying, but I knew I really wanted it. So it's part of my daily prayer, good. My prayer was not even to pass law school. My prayer was to become a lawyer. Yeah, so muna gyud to ang akong everyday prayer na I pray to become a lawyer. So
Mo na kuan Motherlet, living up kay numdum lang ko ba, The Alchemist. Kanang,
Yeah.
if you want it so much, you can
Yes, and
manifest it. Then you
and the world will conspire.
You start already living your personal legend maski wala pa gani na din ha. And then
If you want it, you
happen.
can be it.
Yeah.
So pagkuan, but at least law school was sweetened by Attorney Kyle.
Yes,
Her
attorney.
significant other is also a
Okay.
lawyer.
That's good.
Oo.
Yeah.
Kuan, dili siya ma-intimidate na ihang fiance is also a lawyer.
No, I think dili ra attorney. It's because dungan man gud me. We achieved our dream together ba. So we were witness to each other's struggle, to each other's small victories. So and not even during
Growing up with your best friend and
yeah.
adulting with your best friend.
And not even an instance where we felt competitive of each other during law school. Tinabangay gyud to. Oo. In fact, there was one professor, judge, there was, we had a recitation. Yeah, si Kyle ato, he had a condition man back in second year high school. So there were days he could not study gyud. So he was called to recite, and timing naka-study sad ko, and it was subject na wala niya na study. So I was silently coaching. Pero silently as much as I can gyud na di madunggan. And the judge, no, she's really nice. Kanya kabaw sad siya sa among relationship. Gisungog gyud mi. Ano siya nga, unsa man Attorney Bordeos, ganahan ka ikaw na lang mo recite para kay Attorney Alo. So the entire class laughed gyud. So it's really teamwork between Kyle and I.
Believe ko, you're blessed kayo mo.
Nakaabot pa mo ni Attorney Virgie sa law school, Santiago.
Santiago.
I'm not so sure, Attorney.
Oo. Criminal law man si
Okay.
Ma'am Virgie. Oo.
Our professor back then kay si Fiscal Petralba.
Petralba. Friends also.
Oo. She was also a lawyer for Law Inc.
Law Inc. also. Lawyer.
Like, most of the lady lawyers in Cebu siguro murag na ay roots po sa Law Inc. Motherlet, no?
Okay.
Oo. Yeah. Kuan. So when the experience kani i-share lang gid ni namo because this is something that every law graduate about to take the bar, actually taking the bar experiences, especially kanang gikan sa probinsya kay mura mabalhin mi mamlat for 1 month mabutang mi sa Manila in a strange place where you have to be your top 100% self in a strange place and matinga ka sa fanfare. Ako ato. What was your experience during the bar?
The bar,
In one word, say it. The bar exams.
in one word, anxious. The entire time, I was anxious. In fact, I cried after the fourth Sunday. Like while I was walking sa UST na pathway, I was crying. Finally, nahuman na.
Ako yung kuan ang first Sunday mo akong pinakakulba because wa ako ga expect na naa man day magbanda-banda no. Na magbanda-banda and then everybody was there were different law schools na mga contingent nga nag-greet sila sa ilahang mga examinees niya mura kag asang entrance nato asang hala kung wala ka nahadlok before the whole thing, the whole big deal about the first Sunday with all the fanfare, with all the drums, with all the trumpets, dinha ka murag mawagtang mulupad imong espiritu ka murag kay
Dito sa Manila,
na ng
right?
drum big
Dito sa
sakit na kay
Manila.
dughan.
Yes,
Dito sa
ma'am.
Manila.
Yes. Oh, gisignalan na di ay ko ni Kuya Brian. We have to pause for a few reminders from our friends. We'll be back.
Kita magmalipayon bagong tuig karon bisan kitang tanan ng lisod sa nilabay nga panahon atong pamilya kuyugon magpasalamat ta sa Dios kitang tanan na ay paglaom sa bagong tuig karong bagong tuig kitang tanan bangon ang pagtabang dili undangon serbisyo Franklin on karong bagong tuig ang paglambok magpadayon kitang tanan na ay paglaom sa bagong tuig serbisyo Franklin on.
Balik ta, Attorney George, ang imuhang mga Sunday sa bar na ay mga kanang unusual incidents or na ay mga distractions within the you know for us lawyers di gid kompleto ang amo ang lawyering experience without the bar, the month-long bar.
So far, I can't remember if there was really major event that transpired during our bar exam, other than the bar exam itself. But during the fourth Sunday day attorney, there was a rally outside UST because that was regarding the burial of then President Marcos. So there was a rally. So at one point, I was confused if people were cheering for us or if the noise was because of the rally. So ako sad, feeling relieved lang sad na human na ang bar exam. Mura ko, naglibog na gyud ko. Like, what's happening? Pero we had to go straight naman sa bus kay naapasad mi dinner after ba.
Ang bar exam, I think correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't know of any other national licensure exam nga naagi ambulansya maghuwat sa gawas.
Wow.
Because even in my room, in one of the subjects, naagi tong tuy isa nga nag-hyperventilate. Nisaka ang
Nervous.
nisaka ang kanang blood pressure. And then maana ba, and then all of a sudden nag-uul sa kaniya kaya di na to siya ka-finish. Siya saya nga oy sa kuan and then di naman kay nalipong na hyperventilate. So ni kuan she had to be taken out of the exam room. Naagi mga mga stories nga ingana niya. Makaingon ka to yourself like me, first exam of the first Sunday, political law, 20 minutes, wa gyud ko'y masuwat. No matter how hard I try to make my hands move,
Yeah.
the answers were in my head. Di jud
Grabe
mo.
yun, no?
Suwat, 20 minutes na nga mura gaana ra gyud kaging kay tungod lagi tos mga drums uy po ni ko ang tough din nga mga ko ang gagasigig drum niya mura ang drums nila naa pa sa imong heart. Mo to siya so ingana ang amo ang naagian upat yun na ka Sunday, upat ka 8-hour Sundays.
Kay 1 month man, no?
1 month.
Na
Yeah.
ano, kanang na, hinayon ba ito, attorney, ani na din ang bar?
Next koan.
This
2021, no? Oh,
the next bar exam,
Oh. It took a virus to
Dili
make
na,
them
no?
really
Dili
decide.
na sa
regionalized. Yes.
regionalized
It took a
na.
virus to let them really make that move na dugay naman gidunta na gipangayo sa mga taga-kuan, taga-probinsya nga student.
So, okay ra diri sa Cebu.
Mas maayo.
Mas ganahan sila, no?
Mas maayo kay dili na wala na travel. Yeah, you have the support, you have your family to go
Family
home
support,
to. There are
In
really
other
times-
areas also.
Oh.
Yeah.
Ikuan
Kay
nila.
naay
In
Mindanao.
Mindanao, it's
Mindanao.
probably in Cagayan.
Cagayan. Cagayan ang sa
Okay.
Mindanao niya. Like, sa Visayas, sa Cebu, so dool ra. Kay, like, there was another Sunday nga, pwede dyan akong hilaka. Because I realized I answered brigandage when it was actually piracy. Kaya nga, hambot nga nung mabasa na ako kay Van, yung vessel day to, letter B. Kung yan, natingas ang nagyaw-yaw man ka about ana, nga wala may kuan. Kanang later on, may pagwata kahibaw nga. Nga kuan da, hi, nahibang. Well, anyways, mo na yung mga experiences in town na mo, nga, i-practice pag yun, throw everything you know. Okay, it's so different from what you will be working on as a lawyer. Okay. Katong imuhang gipang tunan-tunan nga mga balaod, you can use that good when you're applying the law, but when you're dealing with actual cases and actual people, dili gani na mao mo first consideration. So kana you took the path of public service.
Yes, attorney.
As a young fresh lawyer, asa ka ning nanirbisyo?
Currently, I am connected with the National Labor Relations Commission as a commission attorney.
NLRC.
Yeah, just last year. I was appointed last year. But prior to that, I was with the Government Commission for GOCCs in Makati. GOCCs, government-owned or controlled corporations.
Kamu atong mo kuan mo murag make sure nga compliant sila ag ilahang mga
GOCCs, yes,
officers.
okay.
And how was it? Daghan biyag yun sa mga controversial nga mga GOCCs
Yeah.
and their officers, employees.
Yeah. Honestly, I learned so much in my practice in Manila, even if it was just for a year. It was actually short-lived, no? But what I really liked about the experience is that we were entrusted with matters which affect national
Interest.
interests. Yeah, because GOCCs, diba? So we were made to attend meetings concerning. I cannot disclose.
Okay.
oo.
Yes.
Tapos,
We know the GOCCs there are.
yeah, so that, and other than that, and in my personal life as well, I think the experience helped me grow because that's when I experienced total independence and freedom because I really lived alone without any family or relative close to me. So it gave room
madala
for
ang trabaho?
self-improvement.
Di
Oo.
mada ang trabaho sa balay kung you're living alone.
It was attorney for
The
some
job
reason.
imposes itself on you.
But for some reason, there was also work-life balance. Oo, because our work was 8 to 5, and there were times, that necessitated an overtime because of rushed works or urgent matters that needed to be worked on. But generally, there was really work-life balance. Oo.
Yeah, karon na anak ka sa NLRC.
Yes,
How
attorney.
is it?
Asa na inyong office diri sa
It's
Sa Dole.
Oo, sa Dole.
Silingan na to, mother.
sa Dole? Hoy, doon ra kayo sa mong opisina.
Yes.
Okay.
Si Attorney Carl bitaw mo refer po from POEA ba kuan man sad sila with Dole refer po sa to so later on ani kami na po mo refer nimo or ikay mo refer na mo Attorney George kuan kanang kumusta ang kuan ang trabaho because you're dealing now with labor matters also a very national interest nga field of governance.
Timing said kay attorney no, and it just so happens na my favorite subject back in law school was labor law.
yun.
Oo. So, in fact, I checked my stories in Instagram and I once posted yun about labor law and my favorite subject. So, as they say, whatever you like, you just have to tell the world and it attracts to you. Diba? And the world will conspire to make it happen.
for you.
But to be very honest, I didn't expect na I will be part of NLRC. It just so happened na I got engaged in 2019. So because of my engagement, it would be best that I move to Cebu to prepare for not only the wedding but for
Married life na.
the married life. So and NLRC had an opening, so I took the opportunity, applied, and
Ihatag sa
Murag
inyo.
God's grace.
Ginoo, no?
Yes.
And it-
Everything was in
and-
place.
and it
Everything
came
was
to
in
you before the
everything felt,
pandemic.
yes, just before the pandemic. I was appointed on March 3. That's the time I got my appointment. I was supposed to leave Manila on March 15. That was a Saturday.
You left early. Mas maayo.
I
din
left
you
earlier.
early.
I had to move my flight to March 12 because there were already talks about the lockdown. So I needed to leave, otherwise I'd be forfeiting my employment because we had 30 days to assuman, and if I'm not physically in Cebu, yeah, so timing good kaayo just before the lockdown. I moved to
Kay
Cebu.
nagsugod na mga ganito pag March 8 pa lang na ang Manila dili na kay mo accept og coming in. They were letting people out pero pag March 8 pa lang murag dili na mo let people in sa Manila.
Everything was in place, good. Murag. Thank you, Lord, for making everything possible. Otherwise, I would have been trapped,
You would have been there.
jobless, without a job. So,
Why do you like labor?
for some reason, it was really, I was so diligent back in law school with labor law. In fact, we had what subject is local
Public corporations.
public corporations, and we had our midterm, and for some reason I wrote there under the labor law, and this was announced to us by my professor. So grabihan na day gyud na kog tuon sa labor, no, kay pati sa PubCorp ang ako ang tubag under the labor law. So muna siya attorney.
Ganahan jud ka og kuan.
Not necessarily ganahan, maybe in terms of kuan lang sa siguro attorney. For some reason I was diligent in the subject back in law school lang sad yun. But if in terms of ganahan, daghan man kay ko ganahan, you like constitution, oo, kana consti 1.
Ako ganahan jud ato criminal law.
Criminal law.
I really enjoyed criminal law.
Very interesting.
Oh, nya mo na naabot na ko ako ang first job PAW. Public Attorney's Office. Yeah.
Okay.
Yang amo ang professor po ato sa UV sa criminal law kay fiscal man po, former fiscal si Fiscal Espinosa di kanang ang tinudluan kuan jud murag pagsud na ko og kanang pawdaan sayo na lang i-compute kung unsa nga penalty akong ipa-plea bargain unsay angay yung mga so ingana tinuod na I agree with you, we attract what we what we love.
Yes.
Okay.
So far, it has proven itself to me a number of times
A number of
already.
times.
Like even without me kanang dili bitaw gyud kaayo ka mo, you don't show so much interest but you know na you're doing it na di ay. Right, ana. Unconsciously, it's what you have been doing na di ay ingon ana.
Renewable sa kay nga field ang
Thanks
kuan,
be to
Labor.
God.
ang labor. Oo. Coupled with interest, jud kayo na. Anyways, going back to my kanang earlier question, how has experience as a lawyer affected your earlier idealism or your earlier beliefs? Have you had to compromise them in a way, or like have you had to make adjustments nga di man ni pwede nga, you know, just to shield yourself from frustration? Kaya I know I've had times nga marag kani man gyud untay dapat, and then later on, well, dili na ko makuha ang dapat, pero basin o this is what I can live with.
Yeah.
Kung ana. Oh.
Yeah,
Naay ing ana.
Yes, attorney. To be very honest, I lived a life full of idealisms, with the books you read, with the experiences I had. No, late man ang exposure gyud nato sa real world. Now that we are in the practice of law, but I think there will be doubts. But if your passion lang yun is so strong, bitaw, as long as you stand your ground, you keep your principles intact, even if the world will frustrate you. As long as you know that you are not contributing to whatever it is that frustrates you. So muna siya, ikaw, you will always be the better person. Because you cannot control the world around you, but you can always control yourself. So there may be frustrating
Nice na
times
nga
in
to,
lawyering, yes.
Nice na nga hugot lessons. Anyways, kanang balik ta in a few moments. Okay, we are scheduled for a short break.
Mayong Pasko kaninyong tanan o bulahang mag-untuig. Kini si Attorney Michael Lopez Rama, ang mayor niadto pero vice mayor karon. I am here being a part of the Oasis of Love, also greeting Nanay or Tatay Dudong, Nanay Dayan. However, being in this station now, I take the pride of, and the privilege of being a part of every now and then activities at CCTN. And Christmas is really a time for us to remember Christ. And that is when, especially in times of pandemic, meaning COVID-19, the more nga ipatigbabaw yun nato ang hinganlan o pagtuo sama sa among tema sa Pasko sa Birama, sa pagtuo ang Pasko ipadayon, o meaning atong CCTN station. I wish to bring to all viewers, sponsors, and the like, that I am here in behalf, of course, of my family, Celine, Miguel, MJ, and Halu. I wish to greet all of you Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Looking forward for a interesting, one-of-a-kind, unorthodox, unconventional but innovative Sinulog 2021 and the launching of the 500 years of Christianity. And as we also, with sense of much optimism, 2022, which I refer as the triumphant Sinulog. Once again, CCTN, Merry Christmas to all, Oasis of Love, Merry Christmas as well. O pag-ong tuig kaninyong tanan. God bless.
Okay, very interesting.
Very, very interesting. So, we're going to let Attorney George share, no, sa ato ang mga kanang taga-subaybay, Motherlet, unsay iyahang na buhat in the name of community outreach. Kay, for the benefit of everyone, ang mga abogado, dili rabaya gyud ni concerned with the practice of law or making money or making a living as a lawyer. Ingrained in all of us, na gyud na sense of duty to community, not just to the courts, to the clients, or to the brotherhood of lawyers. Na gyud ni sense of duty to the community. We are not actually that cold and heartless people. The law is cold, but lawyers are very warm. So during the break, naagi share si Attorney George namo nga gusto gyud namo iyahang i-impart pud sa inyo ha. What did you do in the name of community service?
Okay. As a lawyer, attorney, no. In my first practice as a lawyer, ako magod since katulad yung mga community extension programs in the past. So in Murag inculcated na bitaw gyud ang desire to be of help. So in my first year of law practice, I was part of an organization. It was male dominated. It was actually really an organization for engineers, but they extended the membership to non-engineers, so lawyers, businessmen, and I was one of the lady lawyers. Actually, ako ra ang lawyer and I happen to be a lady. So when we had our meeting, we wanted to come up with a project, our main project for the year, kanang community extension, outreach program. So we identified a place for us to do this project. Fresh sad kaayo ang Marawi siege ato na time. So we decided
Marawi was under siege from May 2017 until October.
Yes,
no,
attorney.
October niya. Murag sige pa to sila clearing
Yes,
for
attorney.
the next few weeks after.
Yes, attorney. And there were really a number of displaced families, displaced children at the time. So in the process of rehabilitation pa ang Marawi, in the process of recovery. So we thought of focusing our efforts to the community that needed it the most. And we decided that it should be Marawi. So for some reason, because I lived in Mindanao, they assigned me as the project proponent for the community extension program.
Because they think Butuan and Marawi are near.
Close lang, oo. It's actually a 7-hour drive away from our place. So, muto, before that, ang main recipients of the community extension were children. We identified 250 children, and the project would be to give them educational supplies and feeding program as well. So, muto, we gathered backpacks, books for kids, art materials. So, nangadto mi
Di po na nila
Yes, yes, attorney. The purpose there was really to give these children recreational activities and educational activities para sa they can forget, or at least naay siya attempt to forget the trauma that was Marawi siege. Luoy kayo ang mga bata, attorney, ba kay at the early stage they experience this kind of diba?
Wait, lakaw mo. Like,
Yes, attorney. Gid na displaced gid sila. Kay guba man gyud. We were sent to Marawi. We saw the buildings. Wala gyud. It's like ground zero as what they called it back then.
Rubble.
Yes, attorney. So moto, we went there and the kids were so happy. They were just so happy na just seeing them smile. Ikaw sad murag you felt na this murag na adyo kay sense of fulfillment, sense of purpose na naa dito. So after ato, we went home. I posted a picture of the activity. Then I was surprised because a number of my friends, mura sila they commended me for my courage. Kay niadto daw ko og Marawi Siege. But before I went to Marawi gyud, I never even felt fear ba. Kay ang ako ara gyud ato kay murag help service mag-extend me sa Marawi. It was only later that I realized na what I did was dangerous.
Yeah.
Na
A bit risky.
murag later na ko ka-realize ba nga so
Kaya
mo
sige
to.
pa man to clearing. When was
Yes.
this? Mga October, November?
Summer of 2018. That was the best
18,
summer of my life gyud kay mura og fulfilling summer kay the entire of summer we canvassed for the supplies we'll be giving the children ingon ana. So mo to siya attorney, and it's this organization I was part of kay
The guys in
nationwide
the org
siya.
also
Oo.
went.
There were only 7 of us attorney, oo.
Who went?
Because our org mates from Manila couldn't make it. Murag naasad sila appointments or I don't know what prevented them from going. So there were 7 of us. Moto niya, 250 ka students. So everyone was happy. Everyone was fulfilled, not only me. So I'm also glad ba na I got to share this experience to others sad katong members pud sa amo ang
You'll be
organization.
sharing it with
Oo.
Cebu.
With Cebu.
Some of those, some of those 7 kay it was their first good na outreach activity ba and impactful na bitaw.
Nagdidiretso
So
na dayon na.
so murag grateful ra sad ko na na-share sa
Gibutang mo sa Ginoo in a place
Gibutang
where
sa
you could do
Ginoo.
most help.
Yes, attorney. It's really fulfilling and I'll never forget. I mean, daghan naman gyud og community extension na imuhang na akong na attend, no? But kadto, it's something so dear to me because it's the first community extension service I did as a lawyer. So murag I felt na my purpose as a lawyer is not constrained to lawyering. And most good na ang ako karon attorney good.
Because, you know, because life is not all about the law.
Yeah.
You cannot follow the letter of the law in life. Dili
Yeah.
cute.
Although it's commendable to offer your services as a lawyer, like we do free legal aid,
Legal
diba?
aid,
We're very
we do
active. And nothing prevents us from extending help to those who does not even need the work, the expertise of a lawyer. So kana lang bisan sa community kay daghan gyud kaayo nang inahanglan.
Matawag nag human imperative. Mao jud na siya. Unya sa kuan other from kanang Marawi, you continued on to be active here sa atoang community of lawyers sa Cebu.
Kuan attorney before pagyud ana since my boss learned about the project no, he tapped me. He wanted also to organize something like it.
Like that.
Oo, kanang hatag gihapon og school supplies sa mga less fortunate children. So I'm so glad no na he tapped me kay finally another avenue for me to do what I truly love. So it just so happens na kaning second time is really so close to my heart. It's called Brigada Eskwela, initiated by the Department of Education.
Nice.
Oo. Kani pong brigada,
Mo
oo.
partner. Nice ang organizations na mo partner with
Yes,
government.
attorney. And ang Brigada Eskwela is dear to me kay I spent my high school, 4 years in high school gyud na mo volunteer mi sa school, kami ang manilhig, kami ang mupintal just before mag-start ang school year bitaw.
So you were really prepared.
So murag it was something I was familiar with.
Familiar.
So kadto na nag-Brigada Eskwela, I was surprised because the activities of Brigada Eskwela is no longer limited to just cleaning the environment sa ang school environment. Kadto kay murag mudawat na sad sila og kana school supplies para sa children. So mo to same ra gihapon nagpack na sad ko og sa backpacks, ana po yung mga crayons,
Nangita na po
art.
pagdalang ko, kinsa mahatag o
Yes,
backpack,
attorney.
kinsa mahatag o
Yes,
papel.
attorney. 250 students and we did the same thing. So murag nice lang ba kay na I follow through sa activities sa Marawi Siege. Oo.
Okay.
Nice gid ang kuan community work, di ba
Yeah.
mo malingaw gid
attorney.
ka.
Community work.
It's a different kind of feeling of fulfillment when you do something for others.
Correct.
Because in a world where people actually not really murag generally ba we all live murag for ourselves bitaw manikamot ta for survival, pero it's a different kind of fulfillment gyud na you are serving others.
It's-
Bantaw.
It's actually a difficult world to live that we live in. It's a harsh world, but it's a beautiful world, and it gets easier if we struggle in it and live in it together.
Together,
Hand in
yes.
hand. Dili nga kay kanang iya ra.
Yes, attorney. And that is, I think, the very important lesson this pandemic has taught us.
Maoy.
Interrelation. Now, we are not, us following the protocols is not only because we want to protect ourselves, but we want to protect our loved ones. We want to protect our community.
And in fact, I actually commend the decision sa church. I knew nga ang mo-mention ng yuko ani Motherlet because mo man ka ng event of the day kagahapon and today no nga kanang Santo Niño had to stop holding its actual masses and balik na lang sa purely online format. I knew it was a very painful decision for them kay murag na ako baya customs na gid ba nato nga every year kani devotion ni murag pilgrimage ni for the Niño, the child Jesus, and then they had to decide sometimes we do the difficult thing because it's the Christly thing to do. Oy, napupos na ato ang oras. Dali ra kaayo, see? Dali ra kayo ato ang time, no? So,
Talipay jud ko nga.
before we
Naka-record.
nalalipay po ko Motherlet nga na-convince ka na mo mo ko anchor, but before we leave mo a few messages of thanks lang good for the people who make this possible. Salamat kaayo Tatay Dodong and Nanay Diane Limchua for giving us this slot sa Loing nga maka-host og sa mata sa Kababayen, and salamat kaayo ni Archbishop Jose Palma, ever the kuan gyud kanang fervent supporter and constant supporter sa ato ang mga activities, di ba Motherland?
Yes.
And then for our crew, Ferdy, Kuya Brian, Nilo, Joanne, Inday, ayun, sakit sa pala akong na-mention. Si Anton, thank you kaayo for making us look good on camera and feel good also.
Okay.
Have a happy Tuesday afternoon, everyone. Viva Pit Senor.
Viva Pit Senor.
Please do stay safe and stay healthy. God bless us all.
Salamat.
Usa ka pagtuo, usa ka tingog,